Welcome back to another episode of Psychocinematic. I'm super excited because today we're covering my second favorite alien movie called Vivarium, directed by Lorcan Finnegan, and as always, spoilers ahead. So this film starts off with these visuals of a bird who pushes out the other chicks from the nest and pretends to be the same type of bird as the mother and pretends to be the child of the mom. Meanwhile, that bird is being fed, and what I assume is the mother is none the wiser. So this idea comes into play in this movie because Tom and Gemma needed a home. They're searching for a home, so that nest, and then they get one, and then they get this alien child that they need to take care of, that they're going to feed, and it's going to grow up. And because they now have this alien child, any future plans of them ever having children are gone. And later in this film, when the alien is older, he ends up locking Tom and Gemma out of the house, therefore kicking them out of the nest too. So after the bird scene, we then see Gemma teaching her class, and she's talking about wind and trees. And then later we see Tom, and they're kind of just making a lot of wind references. And I kind of felt like this was symbolic for like the winds of change that are about to completely change their life. So Tom and Gemma go and look at the office of Yonder Homes, and I gotta say, the actor who is playing this alien real estate agent nailed it. I mean, he is so perfectly weird. If I tried, there's no way I could ever deliver that as well as he did. So Martin, who is that alien real estate agent, which I wrote down that Martin is pretty close to Martian. I'm wondering if they did that on purpose, even though, he's not. Probably not from Mars, but, just alien. Anyway, he takes them to Yonder Homes, and while they're in the car driving out there, the song that is on is called A Message to You. I think that this is foreshadowing for the baby that's going to be left in front of their home with that message, raise the child and be released. I didn't notice this the first time I watched this movie about 2 years ago, but I noticed it this time. But when they're driving into Yonder Homes, it's clearly a CGI animation of them driving in, and I love that they use CGI to make it look really eerie and fake. There are some shots I can't tell if they're using a matte painting or miniature homes in the background, but I know they at least use CGI, and it's just great because it adds to the fact that this whole place that they're in doesn't operate like a normal neighborhood. There is something eerie about it. And then you see the clouds, the cloud-shaped clouds, and it's further proof. I joke with my wife all the time because we have a ton of new build neighborhoods that are popping up around where we live. And I joke all the time that they look like the Vivarium homes because they all look the exact same. They're very cookie cutter. There's a ton of homes packed together. And then those neighborhoods are labyrinths. You go in there and then you can't figure out how to get back to the street. You got to pull up your phone and the GPS. It's ridiculous. Which leads me to the joke moral of the story, and that is steer clear of these soulless new build homes. Otherwise, you might have to raise an alien baby. After being ditched by the realtor, Tom and Gemma try and find the way out of that neighborhood and drive all night, and that car ends up running out of gas. And, so it's clearly like this crazy labyrinth, but so it is the Vivarium, but it makes me wonder like the actual mechanism. My mind runs crazy because clearly there's a seamless way of being transported into it. And then once you're in there, it's like this crazy technology, this basically magic that you can't find your way out. And so I just keep thinking about what kind of alien technology that would look like. Are they on a spaceship? Was this a seamless transition into a spaceship or a giant dome, a new dimension? Who knows? But they couldn't have picked a better name for this movie because here's the definition of Vivarium: an enclosure, container, or structure adapted or prepared for keeping animals under semi-natural conditions for observation or study or as pets. That's fucking creepy. I remember watching this the first time and being on edge during any quiet point because I was like, are we going to end up seeing the other aliens? Is there going to be some disgusting jump scare? I was terrified. So one good thing about moving to the Yonder home development area is that if you set your house on fire, they'll just replace it overnight. And then, they'll reward you with, you're clearly safe. So here, go ahead and raise this alien baby. Also, the actor who plays the alien kid, what a creepy little fucker he is. Not the actor, but the character. Good God, the actor did a great job. The voice, the repeating everything, the growing really quick, the screaming, that writing, like that they just scream instead of cry. It is awful in the best of ways. And I swear the woofing from that kid haunts me. It's so disturbing. I like this interesting stop motion animation when Tom flicks the cigarette at the kid and then it lands on the ground and burns the grass. That was cool. I just like how weird this area is. Anyway, he starts digging that hole and, he's quite literally digging his own grave. Later, when Tom and Gemma realize that the car still has some battery, the song that is playing is 007 Shantytown, and it says Shantytown a lot in that song, and they're basically living in their own shantytown. So the boy disappears, presumably to go and be with the other aliens, and he comes back with a book, presumably about everything that he needs to know about himself and, how to grow up. But I can't help but think, because of what he's wearing and now this book, it's like he already kind of looked like a Mormon going door to door. But now, it's pretty clear he looks like a Mormon going door to door. I wonder if the writers did that on purpose. It was very brilliant of Gemma when she asks the boy if he wants to play a game of, who can you impersonate? And then she basically gets it out of him to impersonate the aliens that he saw. And oh my God, the practical effects of that throat blowing out. It looked practical to me. It reminds me of like watching The Thing. That was so disgusting and disturbing. Ugh. Fuck, man, this movie's disgusting. So Tom was slowly getting sicker, and I'm not sure if it's because of the food, because they had mentioned how the food makes him feel sick. If it's the food, I don't understand why Gemma wasn't getting sick. I kind of feel like it's because he's digging so much and it's probably toxic down there. And then Tom ends up finding the body at the bottom of that hole, and I had to watch it a few times. I couldn't really tell what he was looking at, and then once you see the body bag later, you're like, oh, okay, that was a body bag. After the alien puts Tom in a body bag after he dies and then throws him into that hole, I would square up with that alien immediately. Like, you can kill me because there's no way I am going to live here alone with you because you creep me out. I would do anything in my power just to die right there if I could. God, that's depressing. So the first time that I watched this movie, when Gemma goes and surprises the alien with the pickaxe, that scarred me. It was like one of those things where after the movie, it's like, I'm not going to bed immediately. I'm going to turn on a couple episodes of The Office, because watching him go on all fours and lift this curb that we thought it was just a curb, and now they're going into this other dimension, is nuts, and it is so freaky. I don't think she's going into another dimension. I actually think these are just other vivariums, and there's some mechanism that's keeping them from intertwining normally, and so maybe that's where the alien was going all the time, to go meet with the other aliens. But it's done brilliantly. I don't think there's any randomness to the fact that the colors of the lighting in the 3 different rooms that she goes to is red, green, and blue, RGB. It seems like this is, a subtle way of saying this is alien technology. This isn't other dimensions, but it kind of chewed her up and spit her back out. And something that I don't understand either is this whole day, when she wakes up in the car, she's wearing a yellow shirt. I don't know where she got a yellow shirt. I had to go back to see if she showed up to the house in a yellow shirt, but she didn't. Because I know that they had other clothes there that were on the bed, but I didn't see it. It was bland colors, not yellow. And so I'm wondering what the significance is of that. I'm coming up short. So if you know anything, please let me know down in the comments. But before I move on, her sinking through the floor, again, I think that was done practically, but however they did it was amazing. Oh, yeah. I can't forget to mention the kid who's clapping while the couple is having sex. And I don't think he's applauding them, because remember, these aliens constantly mimic your noises. I think he's literally making clapping noises for the sex sounds. And that is just so gross, watching a little kid do that. So Gemma gets put out of her misery by the alien. The alien jacks their car and goes and tags out the other alien. So it completes this circle of life. The fact that he puts Martin into a body bag the same way, but then he folds him up and then sticks him into a filing cabinet. It sounds like he falls too. Ugh, all that is just so foul. And now he's Martin. And now for my review. Like I said, this movie is brilliant. I love the take on aliens. This is my second favorite alien movie ever. Really, my only complaint is that I feel around the time right before Tom passes away, I felt like it was just dragging on a little bit, to the point where I question how much longer is the film going to be running, because I just want to finish it. But that big climactic scene afterwards was well worth the wait. So overall, I'd give this movie a 9 out of 10. And that's all I have for you guys today on this episode of Psycho Cinematic. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.